G'day guys, today we're going to be turning the Asus Chromebit CS10 into a headless server. We will once again need a basic USB hub and a USB flash drive to run our OS from. We'll also be using a basic USB keyboard to input the commands. Once again, we will be using CrawfishOS. In a previous video, I have gone into detail on how you can download the correct image and write it to a flash drive yourself, so we won't be covering that this video. You will also need to enable developer mode and USB booting on your Chromebit if you haven't done so already. We have done both of those things in a previous video. We're just pressing Ctrl U to boot from the external drive. This is a fresh image of CrawfishOS, which I've written to a 16 gig flash drive using Rufus. At the login screen, we'll log in with root, no password. And then from here we want to type in install prawn OS, so capital I, lowercase n, S-T-A-L-L, capital P, lowercase R-A-W-N, capital O-S. We want expand, which will just expand the partition on our flash drive. It's going to ask if we want a desktop environment. We're going to say no. And that's it. We have installed our CrawfishOS. So the first thing we want to do is we want internet access, and we don't have an Ethernet port, but we do have built-in Wi-Fi. So we'll use our Wi-Fi to connect. All you have to do is type in nmcli space device space Wi-Fi space list. It'll show all your access points. There's my two there. And then to connect, all you have to do is type in nmcli once again. Space device, space Wi-Fi, space connect, space single quotes, and this is where you put your SSID. So you'll put SSID, obviously put your SSID for me to be container, space password, space single quotes again, and the password. It's important you don't use double quotes like that, because if there's any special characters in your password, anything like that, it will throw an error and it won't connect. So you can either change your Wi-Fi password to not contain any special characters, or easier, just use single quotes. So I'll connect to my Wi-Fi and we'll come back. Okay, we've connected to our Wi-Fi. So the first thing we want to do is we want to add a new user account. So we just do add user space a username. I'm going to do SJSL. You can do anything you want. It'll ask for a password. Again, I'll do SJSL, put whatever you want. And you can fill in all the information or just leave it blank, there's no point. So let's go blank, go yes. And that's our new user created. We will be using that later on to remote in to upload some files using FileZilla. So next we're going to do an apt get update. Make sure everything's up to date, all our package repositories. Once that's done, we want to install our web stack. So we'll be using Apache 2 and PHP in this video. So let's do apt get install Apache 2. And yes. We also want to install PHP, so apt get install PHP. And yes again. We also want to install Open SSH Server so we can easily remote in to do any config changes, and also gives us an easy way to upload files using SFTP. So it's apt get install Open SSH-server. And yes. This step is optional and is not required for the server, but I will also be installing Screenfetch. And yes. This does just give us a nice little overview of our hardware. So once that's done, I will just show you Screenfetch. And that's pretty much what it does. So you can see we're only using 129 mega RAM out of the 2 gig, so very, very low overhead. And we've currently used 1.6 gig of our 16 gig flash drive, and it is running Debian in the background. So once we've installed all of our programs, we do want to enable auto login. So to do that, we'll go cd/etc/systemd, and we'll go nano login.conf, and we want to uncomment the top line and auto VTS, change it to 1. We'll press Ctrl X to quit, and we do want to save the file, so yes, and same name. Next, we want to type in system CTL space edit space getty at tty1, enter, and then just in the first open gap we want to type in the following: service, we want to do exec equals, leave that blank, exec equals //sbin /agetty dash auto login root no clear percentage capital I 38400 Linux, and we want to do Control O to save it and press enter, and then Control X to quit. Now we want to enable the Getty service, so we do system CTL enable getty at tty1.service, and that should auto log in now. So from here we'll just do reboot, and Control U once again to boot, and hopefully it should auto log in as root. It should auto connect to the Wi-Fi, and it should automatically start the web server and open SSH server. So it did auto log us in, which is great. And let's give it a second. And it's auto connected to our Wi-Fi. So the server should be running. I will just double check our IP, ifconfig, and it's 192.168.1.124. I'll hop on to my Windows 10 laptop and we can see if it worked. Over on our Windows 10 laptop now, let's just double check our web server is running. So we'll type in its IP, which is 192.168.1.124. We don't have to specify the port because it is using standard port 80. And there's our test page. So our file server or our web server is working. Next, let's download PuTTY and FileZilla. Let's go down to alternative, and we want the portable version. There it is there. We also want FileZilla. I want the portable version, show additional download options, and I'll grab the 64-bit version. We also want to download Tiny File Manager, so we'll just type in Tiny File Manager, go to the Git link. I'm going to go down a little bit because we do want the offline branch, and there it is there. We'll go to code and download zip. Go to our downloads folder. While they're downloading, we'll open up PuTTY, and we'll double check our open SSH servers running. So again, the IP 192.168.1.124, standard port 22, which is good. Go open, want to accept, log in as the new user we created, which is for me SJSL, and the password SJSL, and it works. Just type in Screenfetch, and brilliant, SSH works. We'll close out of that. We will extract FileZilla. I'll also extract Tiny File Manager. We'll open up FileZilla. And for the host, we want SFTP : // and we want our IP, which is 192.168.1.124. Username as SJSL, password SJSL. Again, it's just the new account you created at the start of the video. Port standard 22, which is nice and easy. Go quick connect, and we're connected. I want to go down to the downloads folder on the laptop, and I want to drag Tiny File Manager. Yep, that's the one. Drag that over to our home folder, or SJSL's home folder. That's uploading, nice and easy. And that's finished, so we can close this off. And we'll go back to our Chromebit. Back in our Chromebit, we do want to copy our Tiny File Manager over to our web root. So we'll go to cd home, cd/home, SJSL, which is our user. Again, it'll be different for you. There it is there. I want to open it up, so cd Tiny File Manager. I want to move star to our web root, which is /var/www/html. And that's it. Double check it's all gone. It is. We'll go to our web root, /var/www/html. I'll keep the demo HTML file. I'll just rename it. So move index.html to old html.html. Old index, I guess. Doesn't matter. And then I want to rename Tiny File Manager. So move tinyfilemanager.php to index.php. So that's the first thing that loads, or the first thing that you see when you open the web server. And we do need to change the permissions on our folder so we can upload files to it through Tiny File Manager. To do that, chown space www-data:/www-data space var space www/html. And we want to change permissions, so chmod 777/var/www/html. And that's it. Now we will shut down. And we'll unplug it from our monitor, just so it is mostly headless. There will be a keyboard attached, obviously. And we'll see if it still works. So here's our Chromebit here. It is powered off, as you can see. And we've got our CrawfishOS flash drive and our USB keyboard into just a cheap hub, plugged into its only USB port. So let's see if we can get it booting headless. So plug it in. And then you do have to hold down Control-U still. And we'll hold it down for 40 seconds. It does sound like a long time, but it spends about 20 to 30 seconds searching for a display device, and when it doesn't find it, it continues the boot process. Whereas normally when you first power on the Chromebit when it's attached to a monitor, it does only take about 5 seconds. Just holding it down. There is an easy way to check if it has booted, and that's by pressing numlock. If the numlock light turns on, we're in CrawfishOS. If you tap it, nothing happens. We are not. So still holding down Control-U. And I will tap to make sure you can see it. I will tap numlock. And there we go. So it is in CrawfishOS. So now we could unplug the keyboard if we wanted to. But as you can see, it is running without a monitor. I'll move over to the Windows 10 Chromebook once again. And we'll see if Tiny File Manager worked and if we're still running the server. We are back on the Chromebook now. So let's type in our server IP, which is 192.168.124, and fingers crossed we get Tiny File Manager, and we do. So we are still running headless on the Chromebit. The default logins for Tiny File Manager is admin. The password is admin @123. Again, I've made a video on how to change that, but basically you go to Tiny File Manager website. There is a hash generator, and then you just edit the Tiny File Manager PHP. And inside it'll have the usernames and the password hash, and you just copy the hash you've created into that, and that's all you have to do. Otherwise, it is working. And let's just double check our, we can upload. Let's go upload. And I'll probably upload putty. Sounds like something useful. That says it worked. We'll go back. And sure enough, there's putty.exe. If we open up index.php, which is Tiny File Manager, go down a little bit, and this is where you would put your password hash and the username. I may as well show you how to do it as well. So to Tiny File Manager again, go to the Git, scroll down, and it says generate a new password hash here. So you type in a password like SJSL, click generate, and there's the hash, and that's what we would paste into here. So you just add a new line, put a comma. There is a little built-in editor to this, which is very cool. We go to Advanced Editor, And it's pretty handy. And you put comma. Not sure if Control D works. It does not. And then you would put, for example, any username you want. Put sjsl equals, and then the hash, which, did we copy it? We didn't copy it. Copy. Go back, paste it in. And that's it. And then you'd put your password. You wouldn't normally put it in on a production device, but yeah, sjsl, that's our password we put. Nice and easy. We will also double check that our SSH is still running. We'll just open up PuTTY. (192.168.1.124) sjsl, and we'll do Screenfetch just to prove that it is running on our Chromebit, and it is. There it is there, CrawfishOS, ARMv7. And we're only using 131 meg of the 2 gig, so very, very small footprint. You could easily run a game server like 2009scape or RuneScape Classic. Not really a big fan of Minecraft, haven't really played it, but I'm guessing you could run a Minecraft server. There should be enough overhead for a single or a couple of users, depending on the server settings. But I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.